Welcome everybody to Corporate Review. I'm your host, Ara Topouzian. I'm the Economic Development Manager for the City of Novi. And Corporate Review highlights a lot of our larger businesses in the City of Novi. And I'm here at Michigan Custom Machines with the owner, Mike Shana.
Hi, Ara.
Mike, thank you for having us come out today and tour the facility. Talk a little bit about Michigan Custom Machines. Obviously, the title may say what it is, but there's a lot more to it than that.
When we chose the name, we chose it for that reason, so that it made sense. We're obviously a Michigan-based company out of Novi, and we build custom machines. Our primary machine is testing, so we're in the testing business. We build machines to test products that would ultimately make it to production. Anything that's worth testing, that's important enough to the consumer, is worth testing to the manufacturer, and those are the types of equipment we make.
And how long have you guys been in history, been around?
We've been in business for 14 years now. Started in 1994. We spent most of our time out here in the Novi area. We've relocated to this building from about 5 miles away. We've been here in this location for about 5 years now.
And this is a pretty big building. This is around a little under 40,000.
36,000 square feet.
Okay.
Complete, yeah.
Okay.
We have 25,000 square foot of manufacturing facility, and we do everything in-house. We engineer the solution. Everything is custom prototype style work.
Right.
We do it all here in this building, and then in the back we will build things, paint them, weld them, wire them, assemble, do the whole thing turnkey under one roof. Yeah.
Mike, I think it's pretty unique of a business to really do everything from the beginning to end, certainly here. Talk about your customer base. Who are your customers?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our customers are mainly, they're OEMs, but I would say maybe tier 2 style OEMs. We usually cater to the manufacturers that make a component or subassembly that goes to the ultimate OEM. There's still larger companies and Fortune 500 companies, but they might be either a smaller division of a large OEM or a smaller company that caters to the larger one.
So are we talking purely automotive?
It's a mix. More of it's industrial. We do a lot in the diesel fuel industry. So the larger companies that would manufacture diesel engines, excavating equipment, people like that. But we also cater to people that make components for automotive or the truck industry or any kind of industrial type application.
And we've talked a lot about this in the past, and business has been brisk and, knock on wood, pretty good.
Yeah, believe it or not, we had a record year last year, and this year we've already beat last year's record. So
that's terrific.
Go figure in this economy right now.
Well, it just proves there's a lot of bright spots in not only in Novi, but certainly in the state. There are companies that are doing well, and it seems you're certainly one of them. We talked about the manufacturing end, the testing end, and I guess all the good stuff happens in the back. So why don't you lead the way, and we'll take a tour of the back of the facility.
You bet. Let's go on back.
All right. So, Mike, this is the back, and this is where all the good stuff happens here.
Yep, this is, we've got about 25,000 square foot back here of manufacturing space.
Okay.
This is where we build everything. It's turnkey. So back here, this is where we assemble the equipment, we wire it, we paint it, we put together fixturing, plumb, hydraulic circuits.
And you have to have the flexibility. So you've got an overhead crane to be able to move machinery. So you've got to have a lot of flexibility here. And as we're even looking at some of these machines, the last time that I came and visited you, you didn't have some of this stuff. So you're changing equipment. How often do you think?
Well, a typical project for us is about 6 months. So some are a little longer, some a little shorter. That's about an average. And usually once the equipment is operable, it doesn't stay here for very long. It gets shipped out to the customer, and then the customer takes ownership of this. So right now the equipment that you see on the floor is either at some stage of build or it's in a final stage where it's being proven out and run off.
Talk about what we're looking at here.
Well, this particular machine, this is a larger system, I'll call it. Yep. It's a machine, it has a long oven that connects it to another machine that's just like it. And the purpose of this machine, it tests, this is a pressure sensor for a vehicle. This actually measures the fuel pressure in a diesel engine. And every one of these needs to be calibrated. When they're first manufactured, they have no valuable information that they can relay back to the engine controller. And what this machine does is it actually runs it through a range of temperatures and pressures, and it establishes calibration coefficients that make that transducer report something useful to the engine controller.
Okay. Now this machine and the components that we're going to walk and take a look at, all created here?
Everything you see back here, we've designed and built 100%.
Wow, very interesting.
Yep.
Well, talk a little bit more about these. You said these are more of ovens?
Yeah, this first machine tests the transducer. It's a transducer. Runs it through a range of pressures at ambient temperature.
Yeah.
Then it passes through this long oven here that moves very slowly.
Okay.
And when it gets to the other machine, which is a like machine, that's at a controlled temperature, much higher temperature, and it goes through the same range of tests. And the information that's collected between the two machines is put together at the very end of the line, and that helps establish a set of coefficients that this transducer would use to measure something, important. So.
Mike, where are these machines getting shipped to? I mean, within the United States, overseas, a little bit of both?
Yeah, this set of equipment is actually going overseas. This is going to the Philippines. Yeah.
Okay, terrific. All right, let's keep walking and
this is
see
a
some more.
system. We've got, so I won't talk too much about this, but this is a small example of some of the things that we do. This is a smaller test machine for fuel injectors, and those two blue boxes actually measure what the fuel injector is putting out.
Okay.
Small system. This is an example of how the machines come together in the shop. We'll design the cabinet, and we don't actually bend the steel here, but we will sub that out. When it comes to us, we'll actually modify the cabinet, weld things into it, and bring it up to a level where we're ready to paint it. And this is an example of something that's being modified right now. And then this is an example of after it's come out of paint, and we've started to put plumbing into the cabinet. We'll start to wire components. This is at an early stage where we have some of the early stages of plumbing and the cooling circuit in. These are hydraulic tanks that we're using, motors. The fixture, the front of the machine is on the other side, and right now they're fitting the fixturing to the frame.